Hi everybody, this is Boog Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review on the brand new Neca Retro Clothed Return of the Living Dead Poster Zombies 2-pack. So first up, let's go ahead and take a look at Trash. So taking a look at the head sculpt on Trash, Neca did a phenomenal job on this. The head sculpt is amazing. The face is cast in this light green plastic, and you get two different tones of green painted over top of it. You get this dark green and then an even darker color over that. And it brings the details out very nicely, like the texturing on the skin around the teeth there. That looks really good. The shading around the eyes and the teeth themselves look really good. And she has some really awesome sculpt to her hair. I think it's just cast in black plastic, and it has that brownish color painted over top of it. Oh, it even has a little bit of green paint back here. So yeah, this head sculpt looks phenomenal. Neca did a very, very awesome job on it. And the rest of the figure has some really good sculpt and paint detail to it as well. So this torso piece is brand new. The arms and from here down to the feet are a reuse of the modern female body mold. But the new parts that we do get are sculpted really, really well. I like how you can see the skin that's rotting off right there where you can see her collarbone. That's painted very well. That's actually really detailed down in there. And you get that nice wash of the dark green color over top of her. That looks very awesome. There's no articulation over here since she is missing her right arm. It is just attached up here. It looks like it's a separate piece that's glued down, but it doesn't have any articulation or anything. But the way the skin's torn off and the bone's exposed right there, that looks really good, as well as the bone itself. Neca did a very awesome job on that. And one thing that I think is really cool is they even sculpted her ribs showing down here. So that is really cool. On both sides they did that. So you can see they sculpted where the skin is tearing off and you can see her ribs. So that is really cool. So yeah, Neca did a really good job on that. They also painted the arm really well. I wish it would have had some texturing to it, but like I said, this is just a reuse of the modern female body mold. We do get new hand though. The texturing on that looks really good. It's got a bit of a wash to it. It looks like they also painted some light green variation over top of it. Over top of the hands right here where the bones are kind of starting to show through. So yeah, the paint detail on this thing is phenomenal. Her dress is made of a really stretchy material, and it looks like they airbrushed some black over top of it and made it tattered. And that looks really good. It is kind of odd that they didn't choose to go with the way she looks on the poster. Originally the dress is cut off right here and she's skeletal from here down. It would have been really cool to see this be skeletal, but I assume that would probably be hard to stand up, or they probably just didn't want to tool some new parts. It still looks good either way, but it is slightly inaccurate to how it looks on the poster. Even the legs have some really nice variation on them. Like I said, I'm really surprised at the amount of paint detail we get on this. And then you have the feet, which are brand new because they're skeletal. And the variation over top of that is very awesome. It looks like it has a black wash as well as dark and light green colors. And it's even sculpted really well on the bottoms. And you do get peg holes. So now, let's go ahead and go over her articulation. So she has a ball-jointed neck that can look up that far. Now she can't look down all the way. If you can see, this is sculpted on the inside of her jaw. Would have been cool if it was hollow down here, that way you could get her looking down. But she can't look down at all. She can move her head side to side and all the way around very nicely. Her left shoulder moves out that far, and this joint feels really stiff. On the Murder, She Wrote J.B. Fletcher figure, which uses the same mold, the peg on this arm is huge and the peg hole is tiny, so it makes a really tight fit. So I might have to take this apart and sand that joint down a little bit, because I don't want to risk breaking it. It does feel like a really tiny joint here in the bicep that can snap. She has a swivel at the bicep, double jointed elbows that can bend all the way in, swivel wrists that can move side to side and up and down. She has a ball-jointed diaphragm that can't really move back that far. She can move forward all the way, and side to side very slightly. Oops, popped the head off there. She has ball-jointed hips that can actually do a complete split. The dress, as I said, is a very stretchy material, so none of the articulation is going to be hindered here. It doesn't feel like it's going to rip or anything. She can only kick forward that far. She can't kick back that far. She has a little bit of a thigh swivel. Single jointed knee that can bend back that far. Ankles that can move down all the way, up all the way, and a nice ankle rocker. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at Suicide and his accessories. So first up, he comes with the Return of the Living Dead gravestone, and this looks fantastic. The texturing to it is done really well. You get some, it looks like a dry brushing of a greenish color, as well as some gray, and then the Return of the Living Dead logo spray painted on there. And that looks really good. You even get the same variation on the back here. This is a very awesome looking accessory. And finally, he comes with a spray paint can. And this actually looks really good. The paint variation on it where the can looks rusted looks really good. Which, that's not quite accurate to the movie poster either. There's actually a third zombie on the ground that's holding the spray paint can. But still a cool accessory, and he can hold it very well nonetheless. So now let's go ahead and take a look at his head sculpt. Another very, very awesome head sculpt by Neca. They did an incredible job on this. The variation over top of what's left of the skin that's starting to fall off down here around the chin, that looks really good. The little textures you get on the skull, as well as the variation in greens, look really good. The mohawk also looks very nice. I think it's a separate piece that's glued onto the head because it's a very pliable kind of material. But the variation over top of that and the sculpt to it looks incredible. The head sculpts on both of the figures are done very, very well. And he gets a real metal ring for his earring over here. I think that looks very awesome. Neca just did an incredible job on this. I love all of the different tones and the way it looks. You get his spiked collar, which is kind of loose on him. The one thing that I really dislike about this figure, I mean, you get all of this really awesome sculpt detail, but they choose to reuse a body mold and just paint the rib cage on here. Unlike Trash that actually got it sculpted on, this is just painted on for him. Trash got a new torso, but Suicide didn't, and that's very unfortunate because just painting the bones on here, it just looks really flat as opposed to sculpting it on. I really think they should have sculpted that on. But the rest of the figure looks really good. You get this pleather jacket, and that looks very nice. It's pretty pliable. Will it stand the test of time and deteriorate? Who knows? But it actually feels really pliable. Doesn't feel like you're going to tear it or anything when you're moving it around. And it looks really good. The buttons on it look really nice, and you get real metal chains. And I think that is very, very awesome. That looks really good. They did the tattering on the left arm very well. That looks really good. I love the real metal chain you get down here as well. I love that you get some real metal pieces on that. That looks very awesome. These pants are done in a stretchy material so the articulation doesn't feel hindered. You do get some metal pieces down here as well. And that looks really good. I do wish they would have maybe dry brushed some brown or something over top of the pants. I think that would have looked good. But overall, I think it's a really nice material. It feels pretty stretchy. And you get the hole over here on the right side. And the boots are also sculpted really well. The texturing on them is crazy, and you get a dry brushing of brown over top of them. That looks very awesome. So even though I do have a complaint with this figure, I think he looks awesome for the most part. Neca did a really good job on him, and I love the faux leather coat right here, and the stretchy material for the pants. So now, let's go ahead and go over his articulation. So he has a ball-jointed head that can look up all the way. Just like with Trash, he can't really look down that far. He can move his head side to side and all the way around. He has shoulders that can move out all the way. Double-jointed elbows, but they don't really want to move in. The joint down here on both of the arms does not want to move in. So I might have to heat it up and see why that joint is stuck right there. And the hands are the same way. I did forget to mention these are skeletal hands and they're painted really nicely. But they're a really soft, rubbery kind of material, and they don't want to move. I don't know if it's because of the way that Neca painted the joint right here, but they do move side to side, but no up and down movement. I'm definitely going to have to heat that up and see if I can get that unstuck, because right now if I force it, it'll probably snap right off. He has a ball-jointed diaphragm that can move back that far. He can crunch forward just a little bit. The side-to-side movement really isn't there. He has hips that can move out that far. He can kick forward just about all the way, and back just a little bit. He has a very nice thigh swivel, single jointed knees, ankles that can move down very slightly, up very slightly, and a very nice ankle rocker. So now, let's do some size comparisons. So first up, here they are next to Freddy Krueger. Here they are next to Michael Myers. I wish I could have found my Halloween 2 version. This is actually the 2018 version. Here they are next to Pamela Voorhees, a figure that does not want to stand up at all. And finally, here they are next to Suzanne from Night of the Demon, another role of Linnea Quigley's. So overall, I would highly recommend picking this up because Neca did a fantastic job on this. Return of the Living Dead is one of my favorite horror movies ever, and they did a really awesome job on this. I will say that there are some inaccuracies with these figures from the poster, but I'd still recommend picking up regardless because they have some really awesome sculpt and paint detail to them. Really, the only complaint I have with this set is Suicide not getting any sculpted bones on like Trash did. But other than that, I think this set is fantastic and definitely a must-have. So, that's my review. If you like this review, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.